higher. It's about 20 degrees, 25 degrees, give or take. So it's very low. What we're having here, the center of the sun is getting washed out. That's because it's getting brighter, much brighter. When we started with exposure, we went 1 milliseconds, 0.640, I believe it was. I had to reduce that to 0 milliseconds and 598 microseconds. So what I want to do is lower the gain a bit. Everything is changing. I'm going to have to readjust the scope outside the tilting mechanism on the Coronado 60. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave it the way it is for now because I got both. We had a little bit better view earlier because the sun was lower and was not as bright. So what we could, I took like hundreds of pictures. They're all lined up here on the side. And here's what we could do. We're going to fit this on the screen. Use your wheel on the mouse, and you could select that and change that. But Michael, you were right. What an adventure it's been, boy! I tell you, I know someone was getting really pissed off, and I won't say any name, but we both lost a lot of sleep over that, and not having our site is sacrilegious. I tell you, we need this. And anyways, they went back to the old system basically, and it works. Don't fix it. It works. Leave well enough alone. And this apply here. Okay, so I'm recording it there now, Dewey, using split cam. So I'm hoping it's going to work. I got a new computer, so Think Center, an i7 processor, 16 gig RAM, and a terabyte of solid state drive. So I think it's going to work. I hope. If the audio start cutting out, you let me know, or if the image is cutting out, you let me know. I'm broadcasting right now at 800 by 600. Earlier on, we did tests with Dewey. Dewey's been with me for a few hours now, and we did test and we did broadcast at different level, 1280 by 720. He could see it really nice. 1080 by 1080, which was 1920 by 1080. He could see it just as good as what 800 and 600 is. The resolution was nice and clear. Dewey, I've been having a ball with you here, and I tell you, I want to thank you so much for helping me on with this to do some tests and to make sure that the system works. And I tell you, the views are really, really nice indeed. So that's what I'm using, the 20, because it was in there already, Jack, and Dewey suggests I do a little recording about it. So we're going to go through the software a bit. This is not a Skyraider series camera. On top, you got a display, so you open that up, you put this to fit. I'm running at 27 by 36, 18 by 24 resolution. This is a 20 megapixel camera. Therefore, you could go to 5472 by 3648, which we had earlier. But somehow, the pixel size and all of that seems to work better for the 60 millimeter at 2736 by 1824. The beauty of this, at the bottom here, save settings. I already made some settings, and I saved everything here. Here, I'm going to save it again. So any improvement that I do, I just click save, and it's going to save itself. Now, this software, there's other settings on there. There's a negative, really nice negative. You could go black and white. There's an HDR as well, but obviously it's going to get overexposed as the sun rises. Light frequency, you leave it at DC. And save settings, of course. Delay capture, so if you want to capture as a video or capture frame, you want to delay a total frame, whatever you want to do. It's all up to you. The video record is full frame, no compression, or if you want, MPEG-4. So MPEG-4 allows you to have a smaller file, which is fine too. But if you want to do some really serious imaging or frame capture, the full frame, no compression is what you want. And you could tell it to go on hard disk, and auto stop, time delay, or how many frames, how long you want this for. You could do all of that. There's also EDF5. Um, this is pretty long to explain. I'm going to skip it for now. There's also live stitching. Now, this is nice. The stitching is pretty nice. You need to read the book on that one. I'm not going to get into it. ROI, yes, that's what I got here right now. And just turning the wheel on your mouse allows you to, to have the size you want, or you could go, oh, actually here, this is the actual size of 20 megapixel, but at a different resolution. I can see now that I need to recenter my scope here. Hang on. So if I would change that to the full 20 megapixel, the sun would be a lot smaller. This is a 60 millimeter scope. So what we could do is fit in the center. That's what it is. So I got my images that I took. I got well over 100 of them, and fit the center. ROI, you basically click here. Let's move them pictures out of the way. You go up in the upper corner, and you want to center that roughly about what it is. There's a check mark at the bottom of your ROI selection, and you press OK. And here it is. Now, how can you bring that up? Well, turn the wheel on your mouse. Or you could say, all right, fit. Or you could say zoom in. So I'll go with the fit to the image. And using the mouse, I get to bring it up. Now I could see the center of the sun and certain areas are getting washed out. The sun is getting higher, and that's the reason why. So selecting the region of interest is really, really good. It works extremely well. You could save files. So all the pictures that have been taken, I created a file section called SC20 for SolarCam 20, which means 20 megapixel. I'm saving it in JPEG because I'm not sending any data to NASA or anything like this. This is for my own fun. And JPEG is usually on the hard drive, my brand new solid state hard drive, which I really like. 1 terabyte of it is excellent. And you could select TIFF. I don't want TIFF, get out of there. And PNG, of course, and DICOM. So you got different, and the path, you get to select the path, and year, month, day, hour, minute, and seconds. This is important for those who wants to do occultation. There you go, there we go. And this is really, really important, and I'm going to show you why. Yeah, this is a single stack Meade 60 millimeter. I don't know. It's on the Meade website. I don't know what the F ratio is. I like to use a Barlow on that, but you don't need it. Okay, let's go back to to what we're doing here. Save file. The histogram is live. You could have it done any way you want. Okay, so you could have a default as well. You could have it automatic. And of course, you've got dead pixel cancellation. This will remove all your hot pixels or dead pixels automatically without dark frame. You also got the flat field calibration wizard if you want to take a flat field. There's a ton of feature in there. You don't want to play with them all. Stick to the basic. And it is image adjust, real-time dynamic range. So they're not kidding. This is live as, there we go. And look at the sharpness in here. This is all the way down, and this is all the way up. No noise, no cutout, no crashing, no nothing. So the software is really, really strong. Now we can increase the contrast, but we're losing the prominence a bit. So that means I'll have to go outside and readjust the echelon there on the scope as the sun rises. Okay, we've got saturation. You want lots of color, no color. I like to have a little bit of a tint because it shows us some detail in there that are pretty interesting. Hue is really important. I got it set at 209. That changes as the sun is going up. So you could go green, whatever you want, yeah, purple and blue and you know. So where did I add it at? 209, is it? There you go, 6, 7, 8, 9, close enough. What I'm paying attention at is the prominence right now, not the surface. So there's certain colors that the prominence are really popping out, which is green. So if you could find a color where you're going to see the prominence really well between the yellow and the orange is really nice. There, this is decent to the eye. All right. Now we've got a white balance. Here's what I like about this. I can't touch this. Look at this. I can't. You go lock white balance. Now you could touch it. But be careful. At the bottom, the CCT, this is your temperature, 7,100 Kelvin. So you could adjust the actual temperature. But it is going to change your white balance. So should you play with that? I don't know. That's 7,100. So again, I'm paying attention to the prominence. The blue is cranked up now, so it keeps the color the way we had it set up in the image adjust at the bottom here. Well, when you play with the temperature, this is what's happening. Now again, I'm paying attention on the surface a bit, but specifically the prominence. I need to pop these guys out. And somehow as the sun rises, everything is changing, and you got to change that. You could go grayscale, nice, but color's nice too. Exposure control, we're at 498 microseconds. This is how sensitive this camera is. And this is the part that's the hardest to adjust. It's got to be. The other one is binning. This is not a digital binning. It is a hardware binning. You're going directly into the chip, into the sensor. It's, oh, David, good question. Sorry, I just saw what you just posted. Yes, you can use double, but you don't need double. You really, really don't. Not with a camera like that. The camera is capable of going outside of the band where we need it to go, and it's obvious here that we could do it. Normally, you would see this red, and you wouldn't be able to see both of them. But by adjusting the camera, you really get to pinpoint exactly what you need. So then again, here we go. We're gonna, and of course you got the resolution. There's 3 different sizes, 5,472 by 3648. I got it set to 2636 by 1824. For that scope, I seem to have a really good result. So if you want, here's all the pictures I took earlier, and display on top, fit to the center. Now you want to get rid of all of that. You got an arrow on each side, and now you roll your mouse and center your sun, and there you have it. Or you could say center, you could say zoom in or zoom out with the wheel on the mouse. I really like that. This is pretty cool. There you go. Now what I need to do is to go on the other side, adjust the telescope. Hi, Jeff, by the way. I need to go and adjust the scope because as the sun rises, I need to change that. I need to change the etalon here, the Doppler shift. So give me a second. I'm going to touch up the focus a wee bit and also see if we can bring those prominence out a little bit more. I'll be right back. All right, my monitor. Talking about myself here. All right, now my monitor on the other side is going to, there's a bad connection, water fell on it. And here's the sun. This is no stack, no nothing. This is one shot as seen live. And how can you tell? Well, if I zoom in really close, look at all the disturbance we're getting in the atmosphere. Everything is moving. So a little bit of touch up every half hour or so is required. So let me lower and center this properly. Once we got it, display, you could go zoom in, zoom out, black background. Oh, nice. Oh, this is nice. You guys don't see this, but the whole screen turned black. And this is nice. Okay, I really like what I saw. All right, and another feature that's pretty good. You could go full screen, horizontal flip, vertical flip, rotate 90 and whatever what I use to fit. And I use my mouse to bring in the sun, go on the side, do an adjustment, and off we go. So a bit of adjustment here and there, and then you get to observe the sun. And I've took over 100 pictures. And here, this is what I wanted to show you. All right, here's all of them that I took. When I first started, we had, it was about 10 degrees, 15 degrees above the horizon. And as it goes up, it changed. I took snaps, pictures, and this is the latest one. And how do you take pictures? You could tell it to take pictures by, all right, save file, all right. Year, month, day, hour, minute, and seconds. This is really important for occultation people. You got image stitching as well, on the fly, EDF as well. You want to record video, we're just going to go through that a bit. Delay capture, so you could capture just as a frame delay, how many frames you want to capture per minute, per seconds, milliseconds. And here's what I want to show you is this. All of the pictures I've taken, they're on the side here on the right hand side of the screen, but they're also being saved because I told the software to save it, and they are under Mallin Solar 20. Here they are, all of them, hundreds of them, and SolarCast. This is what I am recording right now. And if I open this up, hang on a sec, folks. Let me show you that. I don't know if you'll be able to see. This is the picture I took. And one of them, and it tells you at SC20, 2023-05-06-08-314775. This is in milliseconds. This is a TIFF file. And this one is a JPEG file. You could tell it to save both of them right here. No, this is my settings. So all the adjustment you've done, you could save the settings here. You go save. There you go. Done. I created already a group name, and I called it that. And hang on. Delay capture. No. Video record. No. Save file, there you go. So you could have JPEG or TIFF or both or all of them or PNG, DICOM, in any way, shape, and form that you want. This camera is not part of the, Skyraider series. It has its own software. This is a software that works for, works also on the HD10, the HD10-2, and the SolarCam 20. And it's specifically made for that, for the camera, for the processor inside the camera. So once you've got all of this, oh, by the way, you got negative view as well. You could set this up. You got HDR, but we're going to get, wow, prominence really popped out now. But anyway, so what I want to do is get an even surface with some prominence. If you go on top here, upper left, you got a little sign of a camera. You click on it, and the more you click, the more you're individually saving pictures. And that's what I'm doing right now. Click, click, click. There you go. And it saves very quick if you got a quick computer. Now, once you have all of this set up, get out of there, fit, increase the zoom a little bit with your mouse. And Bob is your uncle. There you go. Right now the conditions and all of that good, but it's a decent view that you get to see both the prominence and the surface detail. I'm going to stop the recording that I'm doing with what is this called, the software again? SplitCam. There you go. So I recorded this. I don't know if it's going to work, guys. The sun was really, really low at 7 o'clock this morning, 8 o'clock, and Dew has been with me all along here, helping me out to get the site going here, do some tests. Dewey, I really want to thank you for that. I really appreciate you coming over and finding out that I was here. So trying to broadcast, and I couldn't see myself using another account. So I figured, okay, something's wrong. So I sent another nasty email to the site people, and I'm going to have to send an apology email saying, okay, you guys fixed it. It works. Leave well enough alone. Never mind updates. I hate updates. Look at what Windows, when they do an update, the computer screws up, everything screws up, software don't work no more. We don't need this crap. So what we want is it works, leave well enough alone. So I'm going to make sure that they don't touch the site. Then I'll continue to pay for it. Yeah, Dewey, you've been here since pretty early when you're having your breakfast and coffee. I really appreciate that, Dewey. It's wonderful for you to help me out with this. Nobody was on, and I didn't know if it was working or not, or you know how it goes. Okay, now we could go negative, and of course I'm going to screw things up. The exposure is 498 microsecond. This is how sensitive this thing is. So it's not a millisecond, it's not a second, it's 498 microseconds. Now, if we increase, now I'm going to screw this up, obviously. Not bad. You need to go to image adjust, or you could go to here and go black and white. You can turn the whole screen black if you want, but it only goes full screen, and boy, can you ever see well. I did it earlier. I don't think so you guys would see it, but the entire 32-inch curved monitor that I got here, it just got covered with one big sun in the middle. It was beautiful. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do, Jack. Absolutely. I agree with you there. What I've been trying to do is here, I'm going to remove the negative. I'm trying to get this going where we see the prominence and the surface detail. Now, if I go more with the contrast, I'm going to lose those prom. And for that, I got to lower the saturation. See how low the saturation is? The normal would be here, which is the actual color of the scope. This is H alpha. So saturation goes down, you remove the color, you only leave enough to see some of the fader detail using color. I really like the light. It brightens the image up. This is not brightness, it's called light. The reason is it makes the actual object you're looking at lighter, brighter, without making the background going brighter, as demonstrated here. If you turn that down and you turn that up, you could see the background still black. Normally it would turn like a cement gray or gray, light gray. Well, it doesn't. There you go, let's center that. So you could do that, and we could increase that guy a little bit. But it's getting too nasty here. So we need to bring the saturation down a bit and lower that a bit. Now, if you play with the contrast, now your background changes color. Well, it's kind of ugly, but you also see the prominence. So you need to find the right balance between both of them. There you go. I think it's okay at my end. Depth pixel control. I love this thing for deep skies. So if you want to do some of the nighttime with planets and stuff, you get rid of all the hot pixels that way. It eliminates them. And the hue is really important. Certain colors you'll allow to see the prominence, and other ones you won't. So by moving this, you could go into the H alpha mode. You could go into the calcium K mode. Man, this is nice. What I do, I try to find where you see the prominence the most, which seems to be the green. But kind of the orangey, yellowish seems to be the right spot. And obviously the features on the sun changes a little bit too. I find that intriguing. If you want to do some research and tests and things like that, this is a software that I really like playing with. This is nice. This is very, very nice. Now, once you're done, you move that over and you tell it to go fit in the center, increase that, and there you go. You got your sun in glorious detail. And it's a beautiful sunny day here today, but it's cold. It's quite cold, in fact. I'm in a t-shirt here since 7 o'clock, freezing. I'm thinking of turning on my heater here, but I'm not going to. Yeah, my nose is dripping, so it's, yeah, it's cold here. It's probably 40-ish, if that. It's really, really cold. I'm freezing. I'm in a t-shirt here right now in the warm room. So we've got a planet not far, which is Mercury and Mars are really nearby. I like to switch the camera on the scope, but because we're too close to the sun, I don't want the sun to enter into my telescope. So I'm not going to go there yet. I was going to do a planet in the daytime. That would be nice to try out. But tonight it's going to be full moon, or it was last night, was it? Or tonight? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's going to be really, really bright. So I'm going to try this on the moon, on the 16-inch. Now watch this. I have a cool version of this camera, and it's huge, very heavy, and the cooler is out of this planet. It is surface cool, not undercooled. And it used dual Peltier coolers on each side of the sensor, not stacked at the bottom like typical cameras are made. So I'm going to talk about this a bit later because I may try it on deep sky tonight if it's going to be clear. Not sure if it's going to be clear, but we'll find out. If it is, I may give it a try. Again, this specific camera and the software is part of a new lineup that we're working on. I've been working on since last year for the SolarCam 20. To me, this is the one I really like and I really enjoy using. And I find it so good to adapt to any type of solar scope. But anyways, it is versatile. This is what I like about it. We get to see the prom and the surface at the same time. They're not the best image. I'm sure somebody could work at it. I'll give you an example. If we go back and turn on the software like this, and recenter this. On top, you've got capture and you've got image. This is post-processing. So whatever picture I took earlier is right here. Let's click on that. You could do image adjust by after, sharpen, and you can really, really bring out the details. Wow, this is nice. Saturation can be played with and reduce. So if you want, you could really, really have some nice effect here. This is post. Under the image, this is capture live. This is post. This is the image I captured a minute ago. Contrast, brightness, you got all of this. See brightness, what it does? The background gets bright. I was explaining earlier during the live, the light, if I go light, the background doesn't get lighter. See, it concentrates only on the object itself. Yeah, it keeps it up. I'm going to go get my snowmobile suit there soon. Okay, so if we go to image, you get to really adjust the image to bring everything out here. This is post image. So this is the image I took earlier. You get to change that. The image dye, you can change that. Advanced computational imaging. This is really, you need a good computer for that. Binarization. So I'm not going to go into this. Histogram, you can adjust it any way you want. Smooth, you could use Gaussian blur, box filter, medium, and whatever that you want. Your colors, and this is post-processing. The one I really like is this guy here. Boy, can you ever bring a lot of detail here. This is one of the things that I like a lot. This is the default. And lower the saturation a bit and bring that sharpness about midway. Wow. Contrast. I should have left it the way it was. It was nice. I always manage to screw things up, huh? But that's how you learn and play with, and this is what it's all about. But one way or the other, you could adjust this any way you want to make it pop out really good. Now, if we go back to capture, this is alive. So we're going to move that away, and fit. There you go. Now, the texture is starting to change a bit. The sun is rising a little bit. And it will change again soon, so we need to go to this oscilloscope and adjust that. I'm not going to do it now. I do want to check something though. So, all right, I need to recenter this. Whoop. There we go. That's the scope I'm moving here. There we go. Not too bad. All right. So now fit in the center, and now we get to increase it. It's a bit touchy to adjust. Some of them that bought this camera last year, they don't use it much anymore because it's too difficult to adjust. The only thing you got to focus on, exposure. Do not go past in milliseconds. Stick in a microseconds. Earlier, I was at 1 millisecond, and here's the result. But because the sun was low, I was able to use it there. The higher it goes, the shorter the exposure's got to be. So, okay, there you go. It's 497 microseconds. So we're going to lower that a little bit there and see what it does. There you go. And we'll get to play with the gain a bit. The gain is nice and smooth. Wow, there you go. That's the one I like right there. I agree with you there, Jack. The SolarCam 8 megapixel is simpler to use because we're all familiar with the SkyRaider software. But this is a very unique software that's been written for the camera only and specifically for it. Again, you got to play with it. And the only suggestion I have is exposure control. This is number one. Okay, and of course, once you do an adjustment, you got to press OK. Number two, don't touch white balance. There, you could unlock it, lock it. And right now it's locked so it doesn't move. You can actually change the Kelvin here, 7100. Earlier we had it down to 61 or 65. And it was okay, but now we need to shift that a little bit for some reason as the sun rises. 10,000, 90, like you need to do the adjustment. Now the scope itself will limit us within the H alpha range, but it doesn't mean that you cannot increase this because your effect is going to be different. Now I could see the sun now is starting to, here's black and white. And The saturation is extremely important. If you put this in the middle, that's what you're going to get. Start with a low saturation, very low. Yes, it is, Jeff. Absolutely correct on that. Absolutely. Dead on this one. The higher it gets, the whiter it gets. That means the brighter it gets. That's where it gets really, really touchy when you're dealing in microseconds. Man, oh man, you're dealing into some of. Yeah, see, for an example, if we increase the gain, the center is going to get washed out. You need to maintain a balance between the prominence and the surface detail. Yes. All cameras, the saturation is set at a basic settings. This has to be lowered with any color cameras. Okay, so go a little bit brighter here, and it won't affect the surface or anything. And if you're gonna go lower on the saturation or higher, your hue is going to change. So we're 204 now. Let's see if we could get a little bit better. When it's green, you really see them prominence, and that orange yellow seems to be the spot right there. 212. See, it has changed a bit. Lower the saturation a bit. Look at that. Now the prominence are popping out. The one at 10 o'clock position. All right. Fit. Whoop. Oh crap. Hang on. Fit. And there you go. I don't know if my recording worked with split cam. I'm dying to find out here, see if it worked. I've never tried it before until today. And oh, SolarCast, yes it did. Okay, which software is going to? It did. Oh man, that's ugly. Oh, okay, resolution's bad. Okay, so much for free programs. All right. Okay, never mind. Well, we have to try it, you know. All right. Well, the bidding is at 1:1, okay, but the resolution, I turn it down. If I change the resolution, the settings are going to be completely changed. Shall we try it and take a chance to screw up the image? Let's go. Let's go to full 20 megapixel 5472 by 3648, and we're going to have to recuperate our adjustments. All right. There you go. Now you're dealing with a, oh crap, I forgot to remove the, I forgot to remove the ROI. So the sun that disappears, so we need to fit that. That's the actual size. Very, very small. Okay, this is 20 megapixel full size. And we're gonna fit this. Yeah, it's a little bit grainier, I find. Definitely is. So in that case, we're gonna have to go and lower the sharpness a little bit, but we won't get, it all depends on the size of the scope you're gonna use. I don't know if we should play with this. No. I would rather go back and there you go. Fit. Hey, I wonder if we go to 18 by 16. Yeah, it's choppier, it's chunkier. I don't like the Let's go back to full size and see what it says here. If we're going to screw things up, might as well do it right. Might as well screw it up real good. And yeah, you will get more detail in there. There's no question about it, but yeah, it's different. You see, it's a softer image. Obviously, the condition don't support that. I think I'll go back to where I was. There you go. Okay, and fit in the center. Zoom in if you want, or use the mouse. There you go. All right, so there's the sun there. Yeah, this is a more acceptable image for the conditions we're having now. Jeff, I'm not too sure. I'm not 100% sure, but it would appear that it does. It actually does. It's not, it is, for an example, the binning here, 1x1, 2x2, 3x3, 4x4, they are not software. This is hardware binning directly at the chip. So this is the real McCoy, basically. And the resolution, when you change it, I believe this is what's happening. And in some way, but it doesn't bin it where you're going to increase your sensitivity. Is that okay? F6.6, Jack. Thank you. I didn't remember what it is. I haven't used this scope since last year or the year before. Been a couple of years I didn't use it. It's been sitting on top of the scope, and that's it. But so far the tracking is pretty good on it. So I like the idea of seeing both some of the surface detail. I'm sure we could work to get much better surface detail. There, forget the problem for now. So if you lower this and increase saturation and turn up the sharpness all the way up, or not as high, but there you go, at about 125, 128, you're going to get some pretty nice surface detail. Now, if we play with the hue adjustment, we're going to get different effect. Mead still has it on their website, and there's no pressure tuner like you guys got to worry about. I wouldn't be able to use what you're using here, with simple reason with the cold and the hot, that compressor and the seals would be popping all the time. Not counting the big bugs we got here that would eat on the rubber gaskets, like the mosquitoes, for an example. So now we could work really hard here on getting just a surface detail if you want, and you get not bad at all. But now, if I'm going to go to now, if I lower the contrast, this is where the prominence pop out. And for that, I'll need to increase a little bit the saturation. But the detail are not as pronounced on the surface. So it's a question of what you want. Either you want prominence only, you want just surface detail, or you want both. Well, I saw the Coronado SolarMax on the Mead website. They still have it. I think they named it something else, or they changed it or whatever, ever since the guy from Orion took over, which is very disappointing. I don't know what he's going to do with the company. But I don't think she's qualified enough to run Mead, but he stole it, so yeah, I'm not going to comment on it. I'm going to shut up. I got to bite my tongue on this one. Let's just say I'm not too happy on what he did. So increase a little bit of the contrast, allow us to get a little bit more detail. You could always go with a histogram here, but you're going to lose also the prominence. Now, if tonight stays clear, I will be on broadcasting for sure. With what, I don't know yet, but I have a few ideas. And not sure what it is yet, but we're probably going to go through that tonight. So it's getting 9:30 here so far. That's it? Holy cow. All right. Well, I'm going to take a break, guys. I'm going to shut this down, and I will be back a little bit later when the sun is up, way up. And I want to see what kind of adjustment we get to achieve with that. I would say by noon or so, 11 or noon, I should be back, and we're going to see how bright the sun's going to get. So I estimate between 11 and noon, I should be back and do some solar again. I'll leave everything on, but I'm not going to sign off. And okay, yeah, I'm going to post it on the group there, Jack, for sure. So Michael, Jeff, and of course, Dewey, David, thank you so much for being here. Once again, Dewey, thanks a lot for the help that you've brought over. You've been great help, and I really appreciate that. Fit, there you go. Here, I want to see this. This is nice. That's not too bad at all for what it is. To get both of them at the same time. So it's a good dynamic range that we're having here. There. Okay, I'll sign off, and the site's working, which is really good. And hopefully we'll be back a little bit later at noon or so. And yes, it was a blast there, Dewey. I really, it was a lot of fun, interesting, and we achieved a lot. Thanks for your help there, Dewey. I really appreciate that again. Okay, we're going to pull the plug here. I'm going to leave the scope on and everything else on, but I'll just sign off from Live Skies, and then I'll be back a little bit later at noon when the sun is way up. I want to see what kind of effect we're going to get. I'm curious to know. I may even put a 2.5 times Barlow to get the image scale happening. So we'll see how it's going to go.